10 of the best Christmas movies to watch this holiday. Christmas is right around the corner, and who doesn't like some good holiday movies to feel the spirit in the air? Here are 10 of the highest recommended Christmas movies out there that you must watch. Number 1. The Night Before Christmas. Sir Cole finds himself talking to an old crone in 1334 who through his kindness transports him from Norwich, England to Barsbridge, Ohio 2019, centuries ahead. And why? Well, for a quest. One that he doesn't understand at first or know how to complete successfully. Fortunately for him though, a woman called Brooke Winters not only humors him but takes him in, considering his centuries-old means of speaking, gestures, and mindset, thinking he suffered from amnesia after she accidentally hit him in her car. Brooke is a woman that has lost hope of finding her happily ever after, as she guides him, thus leading him to discover what the old crone had wanted him to learn. Number 2. The Holiday Calendar. Josh and Abby, two passionate photographers, have known each other since childhood. When they grow up, Josh goes to travel the world to follow his passion with photography. But as for Abby, she stayed in her hometown working in the same job for 6 years as a struggling photographer. Before Christmas, Abby's grandpa gifts her this advent calendar that was her grandmother's. Leading to each day, Abby discovering that the calendar is not so normal, in fact is magical. Once what is inside makes what happens with the real life item, and Abby believes that the calendar is magical. Still, in the early days of December, Abby receives a Christmas tree in her calendar, which later makes her meet a guy named Ty Walker after his tree falls off of the roof of his car. Will a spark of chemistry appear between the two? Watch the movie to find out. Number 3. The Holiday. In London, Iris Simpkins writes a wedding column in a newspaper and nurtures an unrequited love for her colleague Jasper Bloom. She is told near Christmas that Jasper is engaged to marry another colleague and her life is turned upside down. Movie trailer creator Amanda Woods has just broken up with her unfaithful boyfriend Ethan in Los Angeles and needs to forget about him. Amanda impulsively trades her mansion for Iris's cottage in Surrey for the holidays via a house exchange website. Amanda meets Iris's brother and book editor Graham while in there, and they fall in love with each other. In the meantime, Iris encounters the 90-year-old screenwriter Arthur, her new next-door neighbor, who helps her recover her self-esteem, and the film composer Miles, with whom she falls in love. Number 4. The Princess Switch. What does a Chicago-based baker and a duchess have in common? Apparently, a distant cousin. This relative allows Stacy, a person who likes planning and order, to swap places with the duchess, while the two are both in Belgravia. For Stacy, she is in Belgravia thanks to her best friend of 12 years, Kevin, signing them up for an international baking competition. As for Margaret, well, she's there to marry Prince Edward. However, with Margaret having lived her life out of duty for her home country, which she has had to be head of state because of her parents' death, she wants just a few days of normalcy. In exchange for this sudden acquaintance who looks just like her, she gets to live the royal life. But they later end up in a situation they didn't plan for. So what happened after that? Watch the movie to find out. Number 5. A Christmas Prince. Amber, a 20-something-year-old woman whose dreams is to go from a copy editor to a writer, tries her luck when she decides to write about Eldovia's royal family. In particular, Prince Richard, who is seen as nothing less than scandalous. It is assumed he is a philanderer and spoiled rotten. Since he's the only one to hold the throne after his father, Amber's boss sends her off to get the scope. However, Amber finds something unexpected. First, in Emily, the seemingly wicked girl she has to con into thinking she is a tutor, and then the prince himself. However, while looks may be deceiving, there are many secrets this family holds close, all of which puts Amber in a precarious situation, one which forces her to choose either a career-making story or holding a secret which could rock the kingdom of Aldovia in ways a person could never imagine. Number 6. Home Alone. Now let's be real, who hasn't watched Home Alone? But of course, we wouldn't leave it out of our list. It's a Christmas special for sure. As the McAllister family left in a hurry for a trip to visit a relative in France, the youngest family member, 8-year-old Kevin, was left behind after sleeping through the whole process. He wasn't that sad about it as he already wished before to be alone, but he never thought that his wish will become a reality in this unexpected way. But his excitement sours when he realizes that 2 robbers named Harry and Marv plan to rob the McAllister residence and that he alone must protect the family home. However, let's not forget the movie's sequel when his family leaves him for the second time a year later and meets the same robbers. Number 7. The Polar Express. Wrestling with burning doubts on the ever-present question over Santa Claus's existence, the skeptical youngster hero boy hears the familiar sound of a locomotive which interrupts his already troubled sleep. And then, much to his surprise, a cryptic conductor invites him to board the magnificent Polar Express on an unforgettable and magical adventure all the way up to the frozen landscapes of the vast North Pole, Santa's realm. Will Hero Boy and the rest of the young non-believers aboard the iron steam engine finally find the true spirit of Christmas? Number 8. Holiday Rush. For a little more than 5 years, Roxy and Rush have worked together, and on their journey, they made Rush, real name Ration, the #1 morning DJ in New York City. However, thanks to a buyout and reorganization, Rush is facing unemployment and 4 spoiled kids upset they won't be getting a lavish Christmas. But luckily for Rash, Roxy isn't the type to take a blow and be out of the count. So she decides to, alongside Rush and his Aunt Josephine, to buy the old station she and him used to work at. Though what film is without a villain? In Holiday Rush's case, that's Miss Jocelyn Hawkins of the new owners, Camford Communications, who wants to make sure Rush fails to launch by any means necessary. Not due to anything personal, mind you, but just because it is business. Number 9. Krampus. We decided to add a sprinkle of horror in our list with the one and only horror Christmas movie Krampus. When his dysfunctional family clashes over the holidays, young Max wanted to continue family traditions, but tension among his relatives saps their Christmas spirit. When his cousins read out his letter to Santa and mock him for still believing, he fights with them and yells out that he hates his family and even Christmas. His father comforts him by telling him that even though there is chaos during the holidays, he should always love his family, and he gives him his letter to Santa. In a fit of anger, Max tears up the letter and throws it to the wind outside, and it's swept up into the sky. Meanwhile, this lack of festive spirit unleashes the wrath of Krampus, a demonic force of ancient evil intent on punishing non-believers. All hell breaks loose as beloved holiday icons take on a monstrous life of their own, laying siege to the fractured family home and forcing them to fight for one another if they hope to survive. And finally, number 10. Elf. On Christmas Eve a long time ago, a small baby crawled into Santa's bag of toys during a stop at an orphanage. Undetected by Santa, the child was accidentally whisked back to the North Pole. Once discovered, the boy was quickly taken under the wing of Santa's most trusted helper and raised as an elf. But when he grew 3 sizes larger than everyone else in Santa's workshop, it became clear that Buddy would never truly fit into the elf world. So he decided to set off for New York City in search for his roots and his real father. He seeks out his real father, Walter Hobbs, a workaholic publisher of children's books with a place on Santa's naughty list. Walter doesn't believe Buddy is who he is or what he says he is. The only thing Walter believes in with any certainty is the bottom line.